Let's bring in Art Cashin, UBS Director of Floor Operations. We were just talking before this, Art. It's an interesting week in the sense of we've got news we know is coming towards the end of the week and/or the weekend between Xi and Trump. China, of course, being a key concern, and then a lot of Fed talk coming as well.
Absolutely. You got Clarita this morning. He had sounded somewhat dovish in his first presentation. Before that, this morning it was the two-handed economist. On the one hand, this could happen. On the other, that could happen. So they got nothing out of him. The feeling had been that if he was dovish again, that might compel Powell tomorrow to either rein him back in or let him alone. And if he let him alone, then that would have people looking. The general feeling here, and I'm not just talking my attitude, you guys know that I'm a bit of a bear on yields. I think they're locked into the December hike. If they walked away from that, everybody would think they were capitulating to the president. So they're locked into December, and then I don't know what's going to happen after it. You're beginning to see groups like the home builders and others saying, hey, wait a minute, you know, we're in the lead for this. We're already starting to see cutbacks. Please take careful note of who we are and what's going on. And of course, after General Motors moved, what's going on in the automobile industry is getting high profile, and a lot of talk about the loans there. And then, as you alluded to at the weekend, Trump and Xi will get together. Now, Trump is talking tough, but we've kind of seen this movie before, okay? As he gets closer to the late negotiations, he seems to talk tougher and tougher, and hoping that, you know, you can bluff the other guy into moving a little bit. So for that reason, even though he spoke rather gruffly, the markets didn't take it except for the one stock, Apple, getting hit.
And even that, not too much, yeah.
Right.
You know, I'm sorry, you mentioned that it's a tough week to get some kind of capitulation in the market because we have the Fed speak and this other kind of known potential catalysts out there. Do you think the market's in need of a full capitulation at this point? A lot of people looking at Friday's low in the S&P, you know, below October's, and saying, you know, maybe it looked like it was less selling intensity. Maybe yesterday's rally means something.
No, I think that's there. You know, traders are always looking for the easy out.
Yeah.
So if you got capitulation selling, then I wouldn't have to think too hard about it, and I could say things are okay. The market doesn't usually give you the easy out, but nonetheless, we're always looking for it. So no, I think you're right. I think they're in relatively good shape. What we're doing here, the analogy I've used before, is like the patient after a heart attack, you know. I feel better, but do I feel well enough to walk 5 blocks? Well, let me see. I walked 2 yesterday. So they're kind of taking their own pulse, checking their own temperature. If we get further pullbacks, the first thing the viewers should look for is, do we make a lower low than this morning's low? And that will be a sign that, okay, you're vulnerable to a little further selling. If on any pullbacks they hold above that low, that will encourage the bargain hunters and others.
Your thoughts on rates overall? I think back to last year, the year before, where consensus was for several hikes. You said they'll be lucky to get one, and you were right. So what's stopping you now from saying the same? Well,
you know, you've got Powell, I think, is trying to be very open. Others, his predecessors and some people on the FOMC had talked about the plan of getting to neutral and having several hikes. Powell's kind of shrinking back from that. He's already talking about going back to data dependency. Let's see how the economy moves. Let's see how things go. So I think he's there. Do I think that they may wind up being handcuffed? Yeah, I still think that 3 1/4 might have been the top for a little while here. But we'll wait and see. They're all looking to do something. They don't want to get accused of letting inflation get away. But the more I hear people like the housing people beginning to cry already, I think rate history is going to be on my side.
Art, thank you.